Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on Beetv News Update at 3. I am Ruth Ogbodu and now the news in detail. The House of Assembly has commenced an impeachment process against Deputy Governor Aminu Abdullah Sam over allegations of breach of trust, abuse of office and gross misconduct. A notice of impeachment was signed by 38 members of the Assembly and presented during plenary in accordance with Section 188 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Section 188 outlines the procedure for the removal for a deputy governor from office. The Speaker of the House, Jibri Ismail Fago, stated that the process will follow constitutional procedures, which may include constituting an investigating panel to examine the allegations. The development comes amid political realignments in the state following Governor Abba Yusuf's defection from the new Nigeria's People Party to the All Progressive Congress, APC, while Deputy Governor Salam remained in the NNPP.
Of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended against Aminu Abdul Salam, contained herein allegation of gross misconduct, abuse of office, and breach of public trust arising from his actions when he oversees the Ministry for Local Government as Commissioner between 2023 and 2024, and while serving as Deputy Governor of Kano State, all of which are impeachable offences. I acknowledge the receipts of this document, and I plead to serve him with written allegations instituted against him to defend himself. Let it be known that this matter will be handled with the utmost seriousness, transparency, and due process. All subsequent steps will be strictly guided by the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, with detailed process.
Efforts in tackling social and economic challenges across the country. She made the appeal during the first quarterly meeting of State First Ladies on Renewed Hope Initiative drives interventions at the national
aggressively as much as we can. It is sad for a nation as they will quote me, we're a rich nation. Don't tell me that. God blessed us. Only that our priorities are just different. So we can make it. So why would we be talking about child malnutrition at this level? But for whatever it's worth, we want to make sure that we tackle it as much as we can. And I can promise you that, I will do the best I can. And I believe that that's what we're going to talk about today. We would all do the best we can.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Wadi Shaibu has assured Benue State of improved security in communities affected by bandit attacks. Accompanied by senior military officials, Lieutenant General Shaibu commended Governor Alia for a warm reception and pledged the Nigerian Army's continued support in tackling security challenges in the state. He revealed that additional troops have already been deployed to reinforce ongoing military operations and strengthen security efforts. Governor Alia, who received the Army Chief at the Government House in Makurdi, reaffirmed his administration's commitment to collaborating with security agencies to end insecurity. He assured full cooperation with the Nigerian Army and other security agencies to restore peace and stability across Benue State.
Assets in our aviation regiment. They command the region regiment so that Operation White Stroke will also have their own helicopters that will improve their response time into operations. An additional battalion was also granted, which are already here and deployed in a Kwande local government area.
Within 24 hours, 3 battalions were deployed to the state. We remain very grateful to you. I want to assure you of our continued support. Insurgencies are never fought alone. Most affected places are.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has clarified that its substantive trial against suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abbas Kayari is still ongoing. The agency's Director of Media and Advocacy had made the announcement in Abuja on Thursday. It said the case is scheduled to continue before the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday, March 16, 2026. The NDLEA issued a statement in response to Abba Kayari discharge by Justice James Omotosho on a 23-count charge of alleged non-declaration of assets. The NDLEA spokesman explained that the prosecution team will first obtain a certified true copy of the judgment to review the ruling in detail before deciding on the next line of action. Abba Kayari is being tried alongside his two brothers who were accused of swearing a false affidavit to conceal the origin of certain properties. The court held that the NDLEA failed to provide sufficient evidence to prove its case against the defendants, particularly regarding non-declaration of land and other properties. Adamawa State Governor Right Honorable Amadu Umaru Fintiri has paid a courtesy visit to the National Secretariat of the All Progressive Congress in Abuja, where he was received by the party's national chairman, Professor Netawe Goshwe Yiwada, alongside members of the National Working Committee. During the meeting, Governor Fintiri described his political realignment as strategic and purposeful, noting that his move is aimed at strengthening the party's structure and expanding its electoral strength. He stated that his entry into the party is intended to bring additional weight, organization, and political value to the APC, particularly in Adamawa State and the wider Northeast region. Governor Fintiri also affirmed that Adamawa will play a decisive role in supporting the mandate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, expressing confidence that the state will stand firm in delivering strong backing for the president's second-term bid. The APC National Secretariat marks a significant political development as the governor pledged to work with the party's national leadership to consolidate its presence and strengthen its electoral prospects ahead of future political contests.
He deserves a second time, and I think it's going to be smooth. It's going to be he's going to be accepted by all Nigerians, because the macroeconomic policy that he initiated, yes, it was rough for most of us because we are not used to it, but it has given a very positive result to us, and the country is really working, and we're on the right direction, and it seems to be agreed by all of us that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
And we want to welcome him to where he rightly belongs. He's a progressive, with a progressive mind. So he wouldn't have settled anywhere else than the APC, where his policies will be best appreciated, where he can fit into the renewal agenda of Mr. President and factor himself into our.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned until March 10 for hearing in the contempt proceedings filed by the National Rescue Movement against the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopitan, over alleged disobedience to a court order. Justice Obiora Iguatu okayed the hearing of the charge after counsel to the commission, Mr. M.S. Bawa, pledged for an adjournment to enable him to secure the presence of the INEC boss in court. Bawa explained that Professor Amopitan, a senior advocate of Nigeria, had faced an emergency that made it impossible for him to attend the proceedings. Besides, the INEC lawyer disclosed that he had also filed a counter affidavit to challenge the competence of the charge and to apply for it to be quashed. Counsel to the NRM, Mr. Oladimeji Egbeka, had, after the case was called, drawn the court's attention to the absence of the INEC chairman, insisting that he was supposed to be in the dock. Before the matter was adjourned, Justice Egwatu ordered service of a fresh hearing notice on the INEC chairman. The court had earlier issued an order for substituted service of the content charge on the defendant. It directed that a Form 48, which is a notice of the consequences of disobeying a court order, be served on the INEC chairman by handing it to any staff member at the Commission's national headquarters.
As the National Executive Committee of National Rescue Movement. But somehow, the INEC recognized a man that is not known to law, that does not even have any judgment in support of him, that was not elected.
Know that the INEC chairman has literally just started, and he's receiving what you call advice from the same directors and co that were with Mahmoud when he did everything he did. So I'll be a little less strong as my lawyer was. That is good that he's coming to court on the 10th, which means he will look very closely at what he's coming to defend in court because he's an SAN.
And now to the business news. Senior policy makers, regulators, and industry leaders gathered at the Insurance Sector Transformation Consultative Forum 2026 to accelerate reforms, rebuild consumer trust, and unlock the potential of Nigeria's insurance industry. The forum held on March 5th brought together stakeholders from government, regulatory institutions, financial services, and the broader insurance ecosystem. The report.
The event team, driving collective advocacy for the transformation of Nigeria insurance industry, was organized by Enterprise NGRO in collaboration with the Nigeria Insurance Association and the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Leading industry partners including Landway Holding, Custodian Investment Plc, Olaniwu Ajayi LP also supported the forum. Prominent speaker included Senator Takumbu Abaru, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutes, Olasogu Ayo Omoshei, the Commissioner for Insurance and CEO of the National Insurance Commission, Aigboge Umukwadu, CFRO Chairman of Enterprise NGRO and other senior industrial leaders. The forum provided a platform to discuss practical strategies for sector-wide transformation. The Nigeria Pension Fund industry started 2026 strongly with total assets reaching 28.04 trillion of the 31st January, marking 22.64% increase from 22.86 trillion in January 2025. The growth reflects a monthly gain of 580.22 billion from 217.27 plus 46 trillion at the end of the previous period. On an annual basis, the industry added 5.17 trillion in assets, driven by a combination of regular contributions and strong investment performance. The number of registered saving account holders also rose to 11.084127, highlighting steady expansion in the contribution base. Federal Government of Nigeria Security remains the dominant investment, accounting for 16.69 trillion of the total portfolio. Federal government bonds hold to maturity, leading the asset class at 13.6 trillion, while treasury bills, Sakuku bonds, and green bonds add significant to the pension fund investment. The Nigerian financial market could face a mixed outlook if modern East tension escalates, with effective expected millage through oil price. Analysts says the impact will flow through oil revenue, exchange rates, inflation, and capital movements. The commercial partner noted that Nigeria produced above 1 to 3 to 1 to 5 million barrels per day, with the 26 budget's benchmark at 65 points barrel. A sharp rise in Brent crude could boost government revenue. FFC distribution and foreign exchange inflows providing short-term fiscal relief. However, production limits from theft, pipeline outage, and underinvestments could restrict gains while Nigeria is not directly exposed to the Strait of Hormuz. Revenue benefits will largely come from the price increase rather than high outputs. Precious Abulaho reporting for Beetv News.
The United States government is considering unusual financial market interventions to curb rising energy prices triggered by the ongoing conflict with Iran, according to a senior White House official. The report.
The Department of the Treasury is expected to announce measures aimed at easing the surge in fuel costs, including potential actions in the oil future markets. The move would mark a rare attempt by Washington to influence energy prices through financial markets rather than directly increasing oil supply. Global oil prices have risen sharply since tensions escalated in the Middle East. The conflict has disrupted energy supplies and tanker traffic in key shipping routes, particularly the Strait of Hormuz, which carries roughly 1/5 of the world's oil shipments. The disruption has fueled fears of broader supply shortages and pushed crude prices significantly higher. Since the conflict began in late February, U.S. crude futures have surged by nearly 21%, while the national average price of gasoline has climbed by about 27 cents per gallon, reaching around $3.25. The rapid increase in fuel price has raised concern about inflation and the potential economic impact on households and businesses. Analysts say the Treasury's possible intervention could involve financial tools designed to counter speculations in oil markets. By taking positions in the future markets, the government could attempt to dampen price volatility and discourage traders from driving price higher during periods of geopolitical tension. However, experts warn that such measures may have limited effects if physical supply disruption continue. In addition to financial market actions, the U.S. government has taken steps to ease supply constraints by granting waivers that allow some companies to purchase sanctioned Russian crude oil. The waivers have allowed refiners, particularly in India, to buy millions of barrels of oil stored offshore, helping to stabilize supply in global markets. Despite the surge, analysts note that current oil price remains only slightly above their 4-year average, suggesting that markets are still assessing the long-term impact of the conflict. The details of the Treasury's proposed measure have not yet been disclosed, but officials say the plan aims to blunt the economic and political consequences of rising fuel prices while the geopolitical situation in the Middle East continues to evolve. Evelyn Isibili reporting for Beetv News.
And now to the entertainment news. Veteran entertainer Charlie Boy surprised former Nigeria President Olusegun Obasanjo on his 89th birthday, creating a heartwarming moment that delighted guests, and also possible trolls shade at Qatar FA ahead of boxing match. Let's join Evelyn Isibili for details.
In a video shared online, Charlie Boy carried a large gift box on his head as he made his way to Obasanjo, prompting laughter and applause from those in attendance. He described the celebration as lively and joyful, noting that the gesture reminded him of his late father, who had been a close friend of the former president. In another development, controversial singer Portable has intensified the hype around his upcoming boxing match with skit maker Kataife. In a viral video, he mocked Kataife and Small Doctor, claiming their training would not be enough to save them in the ring. Portable also referenced a past confrontation with Small Doctor, claiming it inspired the rapper to start boxing. He warned Kataife to find a better coach and insisted he would emerge victorious. Fans have flooded social media with reactions, memes, and predictions. Portable's confident remarks had fueled excitement, turning the matchup into one of the most talked about celebrity boxing events online. Cillian Murphy described the devotion of Peaky Blinders fan as wonderfully humbling as he returns as Tommy Shelby in the new film Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. The movie continues the story of the Shelby family 13 years after the TV series began. The film features new cast members, including Barry Keoghan, Rebecca Ferguson, and Tim Roth, adding fresh energy to the series. Murphy said returning to the role was both nostalgic and rewarding, highlighting fans' loyalty. Creator Stephen Knight emphasized the importance of the fans, noting the 2 weeks theoretical release allows audiences to watch together in person before the film streams on Netflix on 20th March. The film celebrates the series' enduring global impact. And that's it on the entertainment news. Evelyn Isabelle reporting for Beetv News.
And now to sports. Galatasaray president Dursun Özbek has confirmed that Victor Osimhen's contract contains no release clause, signaling the club's intent to keep the Super Eagles striker in Istanbul. He also praised Osimhen's professionalism and impact since joining the club. Osimhen is described as one of the most exciting strikers in Galatasaray history. He trains with intensity, takes excellent care of himself, and is an extraordinary professional expected to remain with the club for many years. The 27-year-old joined Galatasaray permanently last summer for €75 million after an initial loan. He has scored 17 goals and provided 6 assists in 25 appearances this season, including 7 Champions League goals, helping the club reach the round of 16 for the first time in 12 years. Despite reported interest from Bayern Munich, his long-term future remains in Istanbul.